Hello and welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report on GoHofstra.com. I'm Jim Sheehan, joined again by the Hofstra Pride men's head lacrosse coach, Seth Tierney. Coach, welcome back again this week. A rough Friday night, bad weather expected Saturday. The game gets moved to Friday night. First of all, obviously the Pride lost 5-4 to Fairfield on a last minute goal. But how did the movement of the game from Saturday to Friday obviously affected both teams, but how did it affect the Pride?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if it did affect, it affected both teams, like you said. There's nothing there in regards to why why we played the way we did offensively. That part of it had nothing to do with it. One less day to prepare, but again, it was equally a distraction or not a distraction for both teams.
Everywhere except the scoreboard, Hofstra seemed to dominate the game. Shots, ground balls, face-offs. Obviously, the shot selection you have to be a little bit upset about because they weren't on goal. There were a lot of shots, but few on net.
Yeah, no, I mean we missed the cage an awful lot, and you can't expect to win a game, certainly a CAA game, when you shoot that poorly. So that needs to be addressed, and will be. Again, it was a rough night, Friday night, which made for a rough weekend, and we got to get back on our horse because we've got a Delaware team coming in with a new staff that our staff has unbelievable amounts of respect for, and Coach DeLuca, Coach Rakowski, and they're going to be ready to go. So we've got a week to fix some of the things that reared its ugly head this past Friday, and we're in the CA race like we are every year. Every team is in it, and it's a big one on Saturday.
Going back to Friday night, Ryan Tierney with a goal and an assist, Jack Kincannon with 9 saves. Who did you see as a standout in that contest?
Yeah, nobody really stood out, to be honest with you. We need more from everybody, and you can't expect to win a lacrosse game with 4 goals. You just can't. I mean, again, I know that there were scores out there this past weekend that were, certainly eye-opening, and ours, the scoring was low on both sides. But we just can't expect to win with just 4 goals. It just doesn't. This is lacrosse, and you need to put the ball on the goal for it to go in the goal, and then you got to shoot the ball smart. So whether it was bad shot selection or bad shot placement, it was bad. And we've seen it be better, obviously during the Towson game and other games during the year. But we need to address it this week because we need to put an end to it.
Is that the most frustrating part of the game? You had a solid game against Towson, and you come back with this game against Fairfield.
Sure, I mean it's just it's the mind games, the trying to keep everybody as hungry as they can, and it's not just here; it's everywhere. It's the good play, good week, bad week, and just try to get everything a little bit more consistent.
Yeah. Well, as you mentioned, Delaware this Saturday at James M. Stewart Stadium, Senior Day, 1 o'clock. Tickets are available, and we hope you come out and support. Say farewell to our 18 seniors. Talk a little bit about our seniors as a group.
Yeah, certainly it's a big number because of some transferring in and certainly some redshirting. So we're gonna miss these guys. They have been a huge part of what we do here, a huge part. And there's a lot of guys that play on Saturdays, but to be honest with you, we're going to miss a lot of guys that maybe you don't see as much on Saturdays that have a huge impact in our locker room with our preparation as we go forward. Obviously we don't have time to go through each and every one of those guys, but we're talking about the entire starting defense. We're talking about the entire first midfield, a goalie, and you're talking about a bunch of guys that are on that short stick midfield, and then you're talking about a bunch of guys that are day in and day out selling out for Hofstra lacrosse on a scout team, and those guys need to be acknowledged and let them know how much they meant to us.
And now let's look at Delaware. 1-1 in the CAA season, 4 teams at 1-1. UMass on top at 2-0, and then Drexel pulling up a dangerous Drexel team at 0-2.
Yeah.
And they're down the road just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean a lot of 1-goal games. I mean, and it's CAA lacrosse. It's what it is. So there's a lot of 1-goal games, and I can't think back if UMass has 2 1-goal wins, or if one was a little bit more, one might have been a 2-goal win, I don't know. But, we've had, obviously we got Towson a little bit more by 1, but then the 1-goal game with Fairfield, and there's just a lot of parity out there in our league. So, you gotta want it, and we gotta show up.
What concerns you about about Delaware this week?
Listen, they're athletic. They got guys that can get to the goal. They got a face-off guy that's winning 50+%. They got a goalie that's he could make a difference, and they've got 2 guys that understand. They know how to win, and they know how to coach. And those guys are nothing to take away from Coach Schillinglaw, because he was a legend. But they got they've got some revitalization that's gone on there, and. So they lost a tough one to UMass last week by 1, and we're watching that film along with some other films now, and we're gonna have our hands full.
Well, good luck against the Blue Hens.
Thank you.
Once again, Hofstra and Delaware this Saturday, April 14th at James M. Stewart Stadium at 7 p.m. At 1 p.m. It's an afternoon game. Senior ceremonies start about 15 minutes before that at 12:45, and we hope you join us. Coach, good luck again, and thank you for watching the WB Mason Coaches Report on GoHofstra.com. Thank you.
We have to discuss senior day. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because we got.